welcome to Cats and Rats Rescue Centre. How may I help you? Okay, so you want to know what we do here? Okay, well, basically, what we do is we take cats and rodents from rescue centres when the rescue centres are too full, and we are the middleman between getting them from the rescue centre and rehoming them. Is there anything in particular that you'd like to look at today? Cats and rodents, both of them. Okay, what type of rodents were you thinking of looking at? Hamsters and gerbils? Yeah, we have those. I think there are 2 cats that are up for rehoming, and there are 5 rodents. 3 of them have to go together, and the other 2 are solitary and like to have their own space. So we have 2 types of hamsters that I can show you. The first one is your typical Syrian. Now, obviously, because you know they're rescues, they're not babies. So I have a Syrian here. Let me just. Okay, so this Syrian we have here is quite adventurous. She likes to run around the floor, which is not necessarily a good idea unless you know there are no wires that she can get to or holes in the wall or in the floorboards. She's very well behaved. She doesn't bite unless you smell like food. And she hasn't drawn blood. She's very cute, very, very cuddly, very soft. She likes to climb and to jump, so you'll have to watch where she climbs up to. She's about a year and 4 months old, and she is actually a mum, but she was dumped in a box in a shopping trolley or a shopping cart with a couple of others, and I'm surprised they didn't fight, if I'm honest, because Syrians are very solitary and they don't like to share their space. She was probably about 7 or 8 months when she had her babies, and she was at the rescue centre straight afterwards. So she's very lively and she loves her pumpkin seeds, which is good because pumpkin is her name. She shouldn't grow any more than she already has unless she puts on a lot of weight. This is the sort of the general size that Syrians get to, which a lot of people don't realise because they buy small Syrian cages and don't realise that within a few months the Syrian will be adult size near enough, and they'll be too big and it doesn't give them enough space to run around, because a lot of Syrians do like to run and can run for miles at night when given the chance. Pumpkin will need a ball, and she isn't a great one to hold because she does like to run, but you can still stroke her and she doesn't tend to be afraid. She should fit well for anyone really, provided your children, if you have any, are old enough to understand how to hold animals and to make sure that they're not hurt, and you know, you should supervise them at all times. I think that in all honesty, you have to be careful, because when feeding her like this, it's very possible to be bitten because she thinks your hand is part of the food. But for the most part, she will just eat treats out of your hand with no problem. You got to keep moving it, or she will bite your hands because she wants to take it all for herself. And if you're not careful, she will do just that. She does come out quite a lot, and she likes these solid apple and mixed things, and she's not afraid to take something the size of a 2p coin diameter and a lot bigger in height, and shove it all in her mouth. She doesn't really chew on anything, so you do need to give her hard treats so that she will chew them, because she's had a habit of chewing the bars, which can cause brain damage, and they need to keep their teeth filed down. She is very well behaved, and she doesn't really make much of a mess. She is kind of toilet trained. There's a special area that we put in her cage that she can go to the toilet in, specifically urinate in, because it's easy to take out and clean, whereas she kind of defecates everywhere else in her cage, and you need to clean her cage out weekly. She likes to be her own female, and it is not a good idea to try to train her. Really, she doesn't really like being attempted to be trained. Sometimes she just sits and stares at goodness knows what. If you have drawstring bags or ties on your hoodies or jackets or shoelaces, anything like that, be prepared to play tug of war with her. If she finds a way to access it, she will try to take over. So have you got any questions about her? Well, she's not much of a biter, and she doesn't normally bite people. Carefresh bedding will be okay for her because she seems to like it so far. If you leave the treat drawer or whatever open, she will try to find a way to get in there. And for the most part, she's quite fearless. So you have to be very, very careful with her, and watch her whenever she's out of her cage. That includes when she's in her ball, because she has been known to bite the ball in an attempt to find a way out. She's very, smart and very wriggly and very difficult to keep a hold on. And she will do whatever she possibly can to be free and to run endlessly. She does have her stroppy moments, but it's nothing aggressive or anything. It's just a little bit of a hamster mood. She's quite clean. I mean, sometimes she does smell, but then you just have to get, say, a cotton wool ball and put lukewarm water on it and just leave it damp but not soaking and not dripping, and just wipe her over, and then put her in a bowl or bucket of chinchilla bathing sand, not dust, and put some on her. She doesn't like to roll over herself because she's a little bit lazy in that front, so you just have to rub it on her and then just try and wipe off as much of the sand as possible with a tissue, and she will smell better. She also has a tendency to leave her food, like take her food from her food area and put it in her toilet area, because hamsters often do that if they think that someone is going to steal their food. So you just need to empty it out, or if it's not dirty, put it back in the food area. You will also have to just go with it, you know. She's very easy to deal with, she really is. I mean, other than her trying to run away all the time, she's very easy to deal with, and she will try to get out quite a bit. So that's really all I can say about her. But she's lovely, she is. So if hamster is the way you want to go, I'd seriously consider her if you have the space to let her run round and have enough space for her cage. But yeah, I guess I will go get the other options and I will be right back. Okay, so the one that I've brought back with me is your second option of hamster. She is also female. It's a Russian dwarf hamster, the Campbell kind, which basically means that she stays the same colour. The winter white Russian dwarf tends to go white during the year, as in the name. She is very small, but very lively. She also doesn't chew very much, but she doesn't seem to have a problem with it. She's probably about a year old now. I'm not quite sure. We don't really have records on it. She won't grow any bigger. She does like to live on her own, and she doesn't bite either, to be fair to her. Her name is Isabella, Izzy. Again, it wasn't clear on the documentation. She kind of does whatever she wants as well. She likes to climb things, but her cage is one level and is very easy to clean. It's all plastic except for a grate at the top, which is the lid, and that's because Russian dwarf hamsters in particular can squeeze through surprising holes, so you can't let her out unless it's in a ball or in your hands. She does like to bury herself, so if you have like a box that will fit in her cage that you could put bedding in, again, we use Carefresh because it's, they're not allergic to it. She's very mellow and will literally fall asleep on you if she's in the right mood to. She likes having the top of her head stroked slowly. That generally sends her off to sleep. She does run faster than you'd expect her to, but she's generally quite easy to catch if it's an open space. She just, I don't know, it's very difficult to explain her because personally, from an owner's point of view, I would just say she's extremely easy to have. Like I said, she's not aggressive, she doesn't bite. She doesn't usually like to come out of her cage, unless it's just for, say, 10 minutes for a stroke. She doesn't really like to be in a ball unless it's the Syrian-sized ball, because I think she just doesn't like being in a small ball, like exercise ball. She does tend to wee a lot, so if you hold her, I would advise having a towel or something on you, a rag, because you can wash it and it's difficult if you smell like urine after holding her. She also does very small, neat, non-smelly poos, but she does a lot of them. So again, a towel would be useful to collect them, and to I don't know, just keep them together so that you can put them in the bin. She doesn't smell. She does like to have a mini sand bath in her cage. I'm hoping she's not stuck. Nope. She doesn't like the cold, so if you do have her out, it's best to wrap her in a dish towel or dishcloth or whatever, and she'll decide if she wants to be in it or not. But yeah, there's not really a lot more to tell you. Is there anything you'd like to know? No, she doesn't make a lot of noise during the night. She doesn't like the upright wheels. She only likes the kind of I can't remember what they're called, but they're basically a disc at an angle, and it spins around as she runs on it. She does like those, and she does run quite a lot on those. So if you'd like a hamster that's quite easy to care for, or like a first hamster, then I would suggest that she is actually quite a good idea, because she does like her seeds as well, and she doesn't usually mind being woken up, provided you don't stick your finger through a hole that she's created, you'll have to just lift up the house or whatever she's done, and she doesn't mind that you've done that. So yeah, like, you know, it's something you have to get used to and just learn as you go along. She does like tissues to be in her cage so that she can pad out her bedding the way she wants to. But yeah, I guess I will go get the next option for you. So if you just wait here for just a minute. Yeah. Okay, thank you. 1 minute. Okay, so this time it's your last rodent option that you asked for, the gerbils. There are 3 of them, and they need to stay together, otherwise they can get quite depressed. And if they're separate for more than about an hour, it's possible that they will not be the same when they go back with them, and they can get aggressive. These guys, they're all guys obviously because we don't want babies. They've been together since about 3 weeks old. They love to chew. I'm talking cardboard and safe wood. If you search online, there are some woods that aren't good for them and you shouldn't allow them to have it. They're very feisty, and if you let them out they will run forever and not come back to you unless you catch them. So it's possible and it's fun for them to run around and explore new spaces, but you have to be very, very careful. They can be quite noisy on their wheel, and you might want to make sure that wherever you put their gerbilarium, which is basically a big cage with a plastic base for them to have loads of bedding to dig around in, you'll want to put it somewhere next to an easy clean wall, because when they run on their wheel, they wee and it splatters up the wall, something we only found out after the fact. They can be smelly. You have to clean them every 1 to 2 weeks. They used to have Carefresh and wood shavings, but only the wood shavings that were safe. But it turns out that something on those wood shavings suddenly gave Bo, the little black one that you'll see in a minute, it gave him an allergic reaction, and he got lots of hair loss and blood and mucus around his nose, and he would pull at his skin and claw, and it was a very stressful experience for all of us. So we just cleaned it out and changed and just stopped using the sawdust stuff. They like to dig a lot, so you will need to buy quite a lot of bedding, and they are your recycling in terms of cardboard. They're not great pets to hold because they do just like to run, so they're great pets to watch but not to hold. So it's ideal for children who just want to watch them and don't want to pick them up. The one that you just saw was Patches. He's white, grey and black. He doesn't mind being held, but he doesn't do it willingly, just walk on your hand. This guy here, This guy is Wolfie. He's a beige colour. Yeah, Wolfie. He's quite calm when held, but like the others, he still wants to be put back. They all love their seeds, so you need to be careful so that they don't eat too many of them. Like I said, they do eat a lot, like chew through a lot of cardboard. So they're your cardboard recyclers. They are very friendly. Like, they will come up to you, but they won't walk onto your hand. Occasionally they get into little scraps, but so far it's been nothing major. However, you will need to be aware of that just in case you need to separate them, and you will not be able to put them back after you separate them if it's that bad of a fight. Their toilet habits, so they wee and poo everywhere and nowhere, and what I mean by that is you can't find it to take it out during the week, but it all comes out in their bedding whenever you clean it. They share a water bottle and a food bowl and everything, but they do like you to scatter some of the food around for them to dig and to take it elsewhere. I have a habit of making little mazes and stuff for them because they like that, but don't be a perfectionist because they will mess it up and put it where they want it. You may need to add bedding during the week if they've chewed through big boxes of cardboard and there's suddenly a visible difference in how much bedding there is. They eat regular gerbil mix, but it's healthy gerbil muesli, and all of the rodents occasionally get some apple or spinach, stuff like that, lettuce. You can find a list on our website of things that you shouldn't feed them, like citrus, and it shouldn't be too soggy, whatever you do give them, other than the water, obviously. The one I'm hoping to show you next is very shy, and he doesn't like to be held for very long at all, as in more than about 30 to 60 seconds. He will probably defecate himself, and it will most likely be diarrhea because it stresses him out a lot. He has been handled the whole time he's been alive, and he doesn't mind being stroked as such, but he'll happily run through your hands if you have your hand in their cage. They won't bite, but they will search for food. Ultimately, these are great pets, but not if you want to hold them for a long period of time. They're very inquisitive, and yeah, I mean, if I get a chance to show you Bo, which is the black one, I will do. Is there anything you want to ask, or? No, they don't. Sometimes they'd like to go in a wheel. I mean, some gerbils do, but these guys, they don't really like coming out, and they're difficult to get out as well. I mean, I had to take the top half of their cage off just to get to them, This one I'll show you very quickly because he really doesn't like being held. This is Bo. You can find some pictures of him on our Facebook as well as the others. All of the other options. Oh no, he just got off my hand and went for a run. If you want, you can go back now. He doesn't like to be without his brothers. Obviously they're not actually from the same litter, but they've been together for a long time. When they are anxious, they chew a lot, so if they seem to be more anxious, give them lots more to chew. You will need to give them a new pizza box or whatever each night, and maybe even a few tissue boxes and toilet rolls with that as well. That's another thing. Bo just reminded me, they kick up a lot of bedding, so it would be advised that if you do choose these guys to have a mat down underneath their gerbilarium to catch the stuff, because it will get stuck to tracksuit bottoms or socks or any kind of that material. I'm not sure if you just saw that, but they just sprayed loads of bedding over the computer here. These guys are these guys are also probably about a year old, but they generally live for about 3 years. The hamsters, yeah, they generally only live for about 2 years, sometimes 2.5 years, so it's still quite a while. To be honest, I can't really tell you what they all cost a month because we buy in bulk. Obviously, because we have so many of them, it's just easier to buy as we go, but stock up still. So like I said, great pets to have, but only if you won't mind the smell. And if it does smell, just change them more often. Yeah, there's not really much else to say about them, to be honest. Yeah, they are quite cute, aren't they? Despite being rodents, all of the ones that we have are really cute. No, we don't have any rats at the moment. Our owner hasn't found any that we could rehome, and unfortunately we're only able to take in the rescues that we're able to rehome. So we haven't been able to take in any rats at all, unfortunately. Would you still like to see the cats? Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we can show you them now, or you can look at them on our Facebook, or you could come back another time. Well, I'll see if I can get them in, because they are currently outside in the outdoor enclosure for them to run around, and yeah, we have a large garden area, but we've had to fence it in for obvious reasons, because you know they are rescues and we are responsible for them. Yeah, sure. They're both males, the cats. They're both males. They have been together since about 10 weeks old, I think. Maybe even 5 weeks old. I'm not quite sure. The records on them are questionable, to say the least. But we got them from the Protection League probably about 10 miles away from this location. They are very calm. One of them is more of an outdoor cat, and the other one does like to be stroked. But obviously with these cats, they do. The ginger one particularly, the house cat, tends to molt a lot and lose a lot of fur. So if you don't like that, I'd suggest either not getting a cat or getting a hairless cat, which we don't have at the moment, or even just wearing an apron or something when you do have them on you. But he is quite a lap cat. He does like to sleep next to you or sit on your head, stuff like that. Yes, if you do get the cats, there will need to be a home inspection to make sure that it's safe for cats. And for cats and rodents, there will be, even if you get them separately, not if you just get both of them, there will be a house check for probably about 3 months after you get them, just to make sure that they're comfortable and settled in and doing well. Yeah, all of the rodents and the cats that we have here will go through a vet check before going home with you, just to do a quick check over and make sure that everything is how it should be. I don't know what else I could tell you. I mean, they're very lively. All of the ones that we have here. You will need to have a garden for the cats that we have. And whilst we wouldn't advise that you have them on a main road, if you live on a main road, you know, they're previous owners and we are on a main road, so they have been used to main road noises, as well as in their previous home running across a main road, hopefully when there were no cars coming. So as long as you've got a garden, that should be okay. The one thing I would say about the cats is that they have fought a bit, and they do end up with quite a number of scratches, but usually it's not serious enough to for a vet visit. Sorry. In our current position, they have to share the garden area that we have, and they are very good with it. They're fine, you know, they have their own places. But cats go a lot further than you think they do. And in their previous home, they the house cat, I call him a house cat. He does like to go outside daily, but he likes to be inside more often than not. He does chase the other one, and did chase the other one over the gate to the front of the house, because he got quite territorial over the garden sometimes. It would be probably about once a week, I think we were told that he did that. So for the rest of the time they're fine. and it's just about, you know, giving them each their own sort of couple of hours outside each time, if it does start to become a problem. So I could show you them if I can get them in. You'd like to see the gerbils one more time? Okay, I'll see if I can. Oh, he heard. I'll see if I can get them out for you. Okay, so once again, this is Patches. He's the one who is least uncomfortable being picked up, but he will run off like the others if you give him a chance to. They are quite difficult to catch. This is Wolfie. If you have a tall kind of fence playpen that you can get online for them, that would be useful to give them a chance to explore if they want to. But they do tend to bury themselves, and they can climb more than you'd expect. So you'd have to watch them the whole time. And this is Bo. He's just healing from the allergy that he had. But yeah, like I said, I wouldn't advise holding him for very long because it just stresses him out, and it's not good for him, and he's more likely to be able to run off. None of them bite, no. But I suppose if you frightened one of them enough while you were still holding them, then I guess they might bite, but we haven't had a problem with that here. So yeah, they must be handled daily, and I know it seems mean to sort of grab them, but they will not come out otherwise, but you just have to be very, very gentle when you do pick them up and try and cup them up, or usually that way, because if you have your hands open palmed, they will run away. So these are definitely not for the faint-hearted, because if they run off, they will run around your room for 2+ hours, and you will just have to wait there until you can catch them. If they do go under your floorboards or find a hole in your wall, it is very likely you will not see them again, because they will get lost or they will hibernate. So you have to be careful with any pet that you own, that there is nowhere they could get hurt or chew through things that you don't want them to chew through, or get lost or anything like that. Yes, we did have them through the winter. These were the first ones out of all of the rodents that we've got here that came out of the ones that you've seen. We got these first from the rescue centre. Then we got Izzy, the little Russian dwarf that you saw just before these guys. And then it was Pumpkin, the Syrian. Now, in terms of the cats, I will show you. We have had them here for a few years now, and we haven't been able to place them, and that's because they are older at 9 years old, and a lot of people want kittens or cats that are, up to 2 years old, just because they've been, house trained, and they don't want them older than about 2-3 years old. So yeah, I will just be a minute to go and see if I can get at least one of them in to show you. And I will put these little guys back first. So, back in a minute. Okay, so this little guy that you can see here, he is called Tigger, and there's not really much you can say about him, really. He's been in the wars a little bit with the other one. He likes the outdoors a lot. He usually is very good with his brother, who may join us in a minute if he realises there's food up here. He isn't aggressive. He's quite shy with people though. This one. He will probably spend half of the day outside in sort of 3 to 4 hour gaps. He likes his own space and won't willingly come up to you to sit on your lap, but he might come up to you for food, or he'll let you stroke him. He doesn't really like to be picked up, but sometimes he likes cuddles on your lap after he gets used to it. But if you give him the option to just run off, he will. There's not a lot more you can really say about him. He's just a really lovely cat. He's got some visible scratches on his back here and his head where his brother has scratched him, but and round here. So he's got a few bald spots at the moment where we've just had to cut his fur to clean them. But he's usually very good with that. He stays quite still. He doesn't make a lot of noise, but when he does want to ask for something or whatever, he will meow in a very special pitch. That's obviously him over and done with. I think we may be joined by the other one. Sandy. Sandy. Come on, Sandy. Good boy. Yeah. What's that? This one also does like the outside, but he also likes to be on your lap and to get fur everywhere. He does have a few scratches, but not many in comparison. He tends to be the boss out of the two of them, so whilst he's really really friendly with people, including children, he likes to take over a lot of stuff. He will sit on every chair you have. and will take Tigger's bed or whatever, so you need to have lots of places for them both to sleep. They swap food bowls, like mid-eating. They do know some basic commands like sit and stay, but it really depends on if they're in the mood to do it and if there's wet food on offer. This one is Ginger, as you can see. He, like I said, they're both 9 years old. Yeah, he's very friendly. He does like a good stroke, but provided you leave him to eat his food first. They do like a little bit of milk, but very, very rarely, on like a once a month basis. If that, and it's not a lot of milk either. Okay, health problems. Sandy, this one, currently has a problem with his intestines at the moment, but at the current time it's not major, and we are having vets try and sort that out. And with Tigger, he has a problem with his heart wall. It's thicker or thinner. I think it's thicker, but I'm not quite sure, than it should be. They both like to catch things. So if you have wires, they will find them. They like to be loved, but obviously when they feel like it. There's really not much else I can tell you. Is there anything in particular you'd like to know? No, he's not noisy either, to be honest. I mean, he pretty much only meows when he wants something as well, so unless that happens, you should be fine. I mean, Tigger's meowing now because he wants to go back to the outside enclosure. I mean, if you allow me to just go and do that, I will come back and take down some of your details, just to catalogue your interest in your options, and if you would like any of them or would like to come again, we can have your details down. Yep. Okay. Give me just a minute to let them out. Alright. Okay, so I have my pad here. And basically the idea is that I will roughly write down some notes now, and I will write them up properly and log them into the system when I next get the chance to, in about 15 minutes. So if you just bear with me. Yes. Catalogue of interests. Are there any you are very interested in? All of them? Okay. Okay. So, I mean, the option is, since you're not with your family right now, sorry, just 1 minute. I'm wondering what Sandy's trying to do. He's just climbed up by the internet box. And should he decide to jump down the back of that cabinet, he will not be able to get out until I can find someone else to help me move it. Oi, oi. Okay, so sorry about that. He's still there, so I shall just have to ignore him. Maybe he's found a spider, and if he has, I hope he chases it away or gets rid of it somehow. So, may I take your name, please? Okay. And your surname? Is that? Can you just? Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I get fed up of people spelling my surname wrong, so I just naturally spell it out for them sometimes. Okay. Please, could you tell us what type of housing you live in? Is it an apartment, or is it a house with a garden? Or okay, so you have access to a garden? Okay. How many do you live with? Okay. Yeah, that's that's fine. Everybody needs company, somehow, some people prefer to live alone and then have animals, or some of them have families and have animals. I think it's great when you have children growing up with animals, obviously when supervised, but yeah. Okay. Please, may I have your email address? Yeah, that's cool. Okay. So is that .com or .co.uk or okay. How far away from the centre roughly do you live? We're supposed to ask in terms of what you would need in order to take them home should you decide to adopt any of the animals. Approximately. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's not too far away. We'll have to consider how you would need to travel with them. But we can figure that out if you decide to adopt. May I have your phone number? Okay, thank you. Is that your your main number? Okay, can we take your home phone number as well, just in case we can't reach you on your mobile? Okay. Okay, thanks. Was that? Yeah, okay. I think that's all. I mean, that's really all I need at the moment. I think do you have any experience with any of the animals we have? Like, have you had any cats or rodents previously? Okay. Yeah, it really is one of those learn as you go things, provided you research, really. I mean, research saves lives. And I know that sounds silly, or cliche even, but it does. I think it's a big responsibility to take on a pet, because they can't tell you how they're feeling, so you have to go with your gut and try out loads of different things, and it can be quite expensive. So whilst we won't check your financial records, we will need to have some form of confirmation that you could look after them, because cat bills, one trip to the vet can be £60 or more, even for just a checkup and like antibiotics or something. So it can rise quite a lot, particularly since we can't separate these two cats, and you would have to pay that twice over. So the last thing I shall write down is something that I will more or less suggest to you. I think that it would be in your best interests to come back in, say, a few days or a week, something like that, and bring your family along, whoever lives with you, and bring them to meet the animals, so you can decide if being a pet parent is the way you want to go, all of you, and we need to make sure that before we adopt any animals out, we need to make sure that you're all on board, because we've had experiences where the animal has gone home from the other rescue centre before we became a big part of this rescue centre operation. An animal was rehomed and was sent back a week later because the guy couldn't persuade his girlfriend to keep the animal, and it was understandable because she actually was allergic, so he hadn't told her, and the animal came to us, but luckily we managed to rehome him within a month of him being here. So I am assuming that you, roughly how long do you think that will be before you can come back with your family? 4 to 6 days? Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. You know, that's awesome. Okay, so our opening times are on our website, and I mean, if you come in, if you call in before you come in, I think that would be a good idea, because then we can have all the animals out separately, of course, and your family can be in a room with them, with one of our colleagues, and you can see how they interact with you and stuff like that. Yep. No, that's fine. You know, if you have any more questions, you know, just email us once or call us in. It's on the website. So there's even a box on the website where you can just type in your query and we will respond to you within 2 days. So yeah, that's alright. Yeah, you're welcome. Yep, I'll get right on that. I will just clean up after what the rodents had left behind in terms of bedding, and then I will log in your details. Yeah, alright, thank you for coming, and I hope to see you in the next 4 to 6 days. Alright, have a good day. Bye.